Welcome back, I am Derka, and today I have a ton of tips that I promise will make your life in Starfield more fun and enjoyable. The first of which is that you can keep moving when over encumbered by aiming down the sight of your gun. You can continue to walk without losing any more oxygen. This isn't a glitch, it has to do with the movement speed of your character. As long as you don't go into the jogging animation, you can maintain your level of O2 while still moving. This will keep you from having to stand still in one spot and wait for your oxygen to return. If you continue to move and the CO2 levels get all the way to the top, you won't actually die, but your health will get precariously low. On this subject, it's worth noting that the further over encumbered you are, the faster your O2 will actually drain out. Being over your limit by 1 mass will mean a big difference from being over by 100 mass. I know you're all greedy, a little bit like me, and we want to get all that loot back with us. Having a full inventory is super annoying, so consider keeping some amp, whiskey, vodka, or Bog's Grog in your inventory to help reduce getting stuck or not able to fast travel. Bog's Grog is a unique drink you can get from, well, Bog, the bartender on the Key, which is home to the Crimson Fleet. The ingredients don't actually sound so bad, and I think I've had this at least once back in college. The most useful early game location is the Lodge, where there is a safe in your bedroom with unlimited storage capacity. This would be a good place for extra armors or guns that you are wanting to hoard. Also in the Lodge, in the basement, by all of the crafting tables, there is another infinite storage container that would be great for resources. You could grab these when you're crafting. Unfortunately, this container is not the same as your ship's inventory. If it's in the containers, it's not going to show up on the crafting table, so you will have to manually pick all of those resources up and put them back when you're done. But this reminds me a lot of how I crafted in Skyrim, and honestly, I kind of enjoy the nostalgia of it. To quickly level up your Starship skills, you can go to the UC main base on Gemini in the Alpha Centauri system and use the flight simulator in the basement. You just need to apply to be a UC Vanguard with Commander Tuala. What you might not know is that you can get up in the middle of combat while in the simulator and go back and make some modifications to the program. You can add an ally to help you or simply just make your ship a little more powerful. This will help you blast through those 30 ships you need to destroy to become a top-tier pilot. Speaking of pilot skills, using thrusters for precise maneuvering is a helpful tool to have once you have the pilot skill kitted out to rank 1. It allows for some fancy maneuvering by holding right bumper or spacebar on PC so that you can make minor adjustments to course. Use this to keep asteroids between you and hordes of enemies, or the best part, by using your thrusters you can basically drift your starship. Use your boost button and then click and hold RB or spacebar to bring your thrusters into action while making a hard turn. Doing this will allow your ship to keep its momentum during dogfights so that you can turn and burn with the best of them. To quickly level up your Starship engineering skill, you need to add unique modules to your ship. The easiest way to do this is to go to the ship builder and then to the structural section. I found adding a bracer like this Nova one can give you lots of places to add parts. Then add as many as you can without violating the building rules of your ship. Keep in mind they have to be different parts. You can't spam adding the same exact part, but the structural components are cheap and it makes it easy to knock this challenge out quickly. Instead of going to a ship's service center to register your newly borrowed spaceship, you can do it from your own menu for cheaper. After stealing a ship, you can bring up your ship's menu and click register. From my testing, it seems to actually be a little bit cheaper to do it this way, but it's also just more convenient. In the aid section of vendors, there is a ship parts section that you can use to repair your ship in combat. They're relatively cheap, but they do weigh a lot. When you pick some up for yourself, make sure that you put them in your ship's inventory so that you can use them during a space battle for repairs. If you're still holding on to them in your personal inventory, you won't be able to make repairs during battle. Ask me how I know. If you're near your ship, you can remote transfer items to and from it. You have to be within 250 meters. Simply open your main menu, go to your ship in the bottom left, and then click X on Xbox to open up the cargo hold. If you have items in your inventory marked with a red symbol like this, it means it was stolen. Not every vendor in the game will purchase this. You'll need to go to the Trade Authority. There is generally one on each major planet. To get rid of that little red symbol, you can have the Trade Authority basically launder the items for you. Sell it to them, and then without closing the menu, navigate to the Buy Back section where you can buy it back for the same price. Is this working as intended? I'm not sure. It seems like there should be a little bit of a markup when buying it back to be more lore friendly, but for now, ladies and gentlemen, it just works. Contraband has this little yellow symbol. To smuggle it, your ship needs to have a shielded cargo hold to keep you from getting in trouble with the law when you come to a major establishment. To sell contraband, one of the best early locations you can travel to is in the Wolf system. Here, you can go to the den to offload your hot items without getting scanned. After docking, go straight ahead and then to the left to find Marcel at the Trade Authority. The Starmap is a little clunky at times and hard to get around it. Something that'll make it a lot easier for you is using the D-pad. Try using the D-pad to pan back and forth, up and down. It'll be a lot smoother and faster than the control stick. While on the star map, the stars that are super bright mean that you have visited the system. The ones that are a dull white mean you haven't been there, and if it's red, it means it's too far away to jump there directly and that it's going to take you a couple of jumps to make it. The watch that you were given as part of the Constellation questline will show you points of interest on a planet that you're exploring. Just watch the little white dots and they can point you in the right direction. You can then pull up your scanner and find out what these points of interest actually are without walking there. Bring up your scanner and click A over the location you're curious about. To 100% complete a scan on a planet, you're going to have to find all of the flora, fauna, and creatures. If you're struggling to find the last part in a biome, it's possible you're missing a fish or a flying creature. If the planet has water, land closer to it and look for aquatic life. You may have to walk for a little bit to make it to the water's edge. Also, the digital ocean or lake might look very inviting, but be careful when jumping in, as some might be pits of acid, among other things, and could lead to a quick death. On this note, when scanning, you don't have to find the exact resource. You can look down and find the vein of the resource and complete your scan that way. Starfield has a leveled weapon system, and the weapons that spawn change as you level up. Rarities such as epic and legendary tiers have no effect on actual damage output. Rare simply means it comes with an extra trait, epic with 2 traits, and legendary with 3 traits. A weapon's damage is dictated by the version of it that you have. These go from basic to calibrated, refined, and then advanced. As you level up higher, more advanced guns will start to spawn in the game. The damage output between each level is actually pretty large, so it's going to be important to look at your weapons. Sometimes you're going to have to give up a lower tier legendary gun for a less rare version that deals more damage. EM weapons are a little harder to get at the beginning of the game, but they offer some unique advantages. 1, they're really good against robots and turrets, and 2, they can be used to stun humans or other living creatures without killing them. The Nova Blast rifle can be acquired pretty early on Neon. At the Ryujin weapons kiosk, go visit Ken. You may have to steal it depending on what level you are. This weapon actually has a charge function. By holding RT or left mouse button, you can save up a blast that will deal a lot more damage. At the same time, it doesn't cost any more ammo to do the charged attack, so I would highly recommend it. Lean shooting is a mechanic in Starfield. When you're really close to a wall, you can ADS and pop in and out of cover. While most of the combat in Starfield hasn't been that hard, if I'm being honest, this is still a nice immersive function to use, and it could come in clutch during a hard gunfight. Also, to make the combat feel more fluid and fun, if you have rank 1 in gymnastics, you can do a combat slide. Simply sprint and then click the crouch button at the same time to have your character slide into cover. If you find yourself running out of ammo at times, you might start picking up the guns that your enemies are dropping. Usually when looting, it's best just to grab the ammo and the credits and move on, only taking the higher end guns that are worth some money to sell. But picking up dropped weapons gives you the ammo that was in them and puts it into your inventory. Sometimes it's a lot of ammo depending on how much the enemy fired at you. Yes, that does seem to be a mechanic here. Pretty cool. If you don't want to keep the gun after, simply transfer it back to their inventory while in the same menu to save time. Medpacks are not alone as healing items go in Starfield. There are also trauma packs and emergency kits. All are similar in price, however. The trauma pack and emergency kit look to be a little bit better. The emergency kit is going to heal you back more health. Worth noting, they do take up a little bit of inventory space where a med pack doesn't, but if you're strapped for cash, you're going to get more bang for your buck by buying the others. Early on in the game, medpacks are hard to come by. If you ever see another ship around or landing nearby at a spaceport, you can take the medpack from the back of their cargo hold without fear of repercussions. Hopefully they won't need it later. If you're new to the game and looking for some more basic tips, check out my beginner's tips video, and if you're looking for some great weapons to grab early on in your playthrough, we have a video for that too. If this vid was helpful, let me know by hitting the like button, and if you have more tips, please share them below so that we can learn together. Be sure to subscribe for future content. This is Derka signing off. I'll catch you in the next one. See ya.